I'm Jennifer Hitting, and I'm here with Bruno Silikowski with AutoMotorPlex in Chanhassen, Minnesota, and we're here talking about what it's like to live the passion around being a car guy. So Bruno, a couple of questions for you. Tell me about yourself. How did this get started? We're in this amazing facility, great cars, people working on them. How did you get this? Where did this concept come from?
I think I was just born with it. I've always was fascinated, even as a tyke. Always bothered my parents about stopping the car so we can go look at something that's out there. And so it just kind of went and grew throughout my lifetime. So I've always been a collector of cars. I've always tried to get Dad to buy me the bigger engine car, but of course didn't do so well, and at least on the first few cars. First one being a Volkswagen Beetle. He felt that was the safest car for me, you know. But no, I think you're born with it.
Do you have a specific kind of vehicle passion that you have? Muscle cars, European cars? What kind of cars do you like?
You know, I actually collect cars and buy cars to use really for the driving experience. So I am brand agnostic, and I've had the pleasure and maybe the honor to own a whole bunch of things, everything from the Italian cars, you know, the Ferraris that too much attention, all the way to, you know, the Volkswagen Beetle, but a 1974 Triumph TR6, love driving it. In fact, I bought the car originally to train my 3 kids how to drive a stick shift in, and loved it so much I ended up just keeping it, and frankly it's so visceral, it's raw, there's nothing refined about it, right? So you're fighting your way through it. It doesn't stop well, it doesn't accelerate well, it doesn't steer well, but it's just fun. That's what I like.
Very cool.
So it depends on what I'm driving and what I'm trying to do.
Do you have any cars here at the complex that are your own?
Yeah, my collection had grown up to about 14 cars. One of them that it's been almost now 10 years through the restoration process was a 1967 Mustang Fastback. And it was one of the cars when I was growing up as a kid that always caught my eye and always thought it was really cool, and I just absolutely love the shape. The look is just, you know, just stunning. So it's probably the one car that if you would argue, it's like, well, do you really enjoy driving a car? No, I really like looking at that car, you know, so. But I did have it reworked and put a 347 stroker motor into it and had a suspension done. In fact, I did some of it, but kind of like to refer to it as the minute clinic versus the hospital. I'll do the minute clinic stuff, but when it requires anything really serious, it goes off to the shop.
Gotcha. So let's talk about this facility, the AutoMotorPlex.
Sure.
Talk to us about the typical condo garage that you have on site.
I think probably the best way to describe it is the common denominator many of the people who join us have is they have the passion, they have enough resources to do this, or they dedicate it to it, but they don't really have time. So what we do is we kind of created a facility that has the amenities and features that are really important to us motorsports enthusiasts. You know, things that are high on quality and high on security, and it creates it and the sizes and the kinds of features that are important to us guys. For instance, the height of the ceiling, so you can have car lifts, the in-floor heat, which is kind of important in Minnesota, and the radiant heat is much better than trying to put forced air heat into it. So, anyways, as we go on and on, but the thing that we do for them is we make it easy, and so people tend to look at us as a kind of a destination. It's their getaway, it's their refuge. Many people refer to it as an urban cabin. But we go beyond that. We actually create lifestyle here, and so many of the things that attract members to us is the fact that not only do we have this physical place where you can safely keep your vehicles and large enough where you can actually put a collection of vehicles, but also share it with others. We do regular events, at least monthly. We do our Cars and Coffee. We have thousands of people that show up for our events, and it's like the car show comes to you instead of you going to the car show. So some of our clients who have quite a few cars in their collection love it because suddenly they can bring 20 cars to the car show instead of just the one they could drive in if it was somewhere else.
What makes it work here, and is this a concept you see working across the country?
Yeah, I think it actually can work not only across the country but across the globe. We've had a tremendous amount of interest from, I mean, literally different parts of the world. Really what it is it's a place where you can safely keep your vehicles. It's a place where if you're working on a vehicle, you can leave your tools and your parts where they're at, and they don't get moved by your kids or your wife or something else. But honestly, even if you had all of that at your home, you're all alone. Here, you're surrounded by like-minded enthusiasts, and we literally have created a community of like-minded enthusiasts that share, not just amongst the members, but on, as I mentioned, on a regular basis, we open to the public.
Yeah.
And we allow the public to come in and see what we have, and we share with. We invite them into our places, we tour them around our little mini museums, and frankly, it's really well welcomed.
What makes the community tick, and how do they stay connected?
The common thread we have is we have this enthusiasm, this passion for motorsports.
Yep.
And motorsports come in different versions, right? I mean, you could be a motorcycle, it could be an RV, it could be everything in between it. The common denominator is cars. That's the majority of what we see out here. But anything with an engine attached to it, we love it. The biggest thing that we connect is we have these regular car shows, which we'll get a good 60% of the members that come out and participate in these.
How many cars are actually in the facility?
So this facility has approximately 150 garages,
Okay.
and we have approximately 135 owners. So some owners have bought multiple garages.
Any estimate how many cars are
Yeah.
in this complex?
So there's a pretty tidy sum of cars here. Probably close to 800 is what my estimate is.
Okay. What's the most unusual or exotic car you've seen in your complex?
The most unusual car that I would say we have is a 1906 Buick car. And he's very much into brass era. So he, last count, he's got like about 8 brass era cars in his garage. But interestingly, it's not the oldest car, but he's got a 1921 Model T that has the original paint and original leather.
Oh my.
And if you looked at it, it's worthy for the road. It still looks great. It's just amazing. He won't touch it because he wants to keep it just as it is. Most of what you see are guys who enjoy their cars, muscle cars. There's a lot of Porsches and BMWs and things of that nature. So quite the range.
Yeah, there is.
It would be like a mini Barrett Jackson. If somebody were doing an auction here, we had everything there. And the quality of the cars is actually pretty high.
So on that note, how many people actually work on their cars here, would you say, as a percentage?
And the question then becomes define work, right? Kind of like what I said. If I call it therapy, and that's what I call working on a car for me, it's changing the brakes, it's doing an oil change, it's doing the tune-ups, it's changing the various kind of more simple things on a car that a person can do in their own garage or on a lift. But when it comes down to a full engine rebuild, there's only a couple of people here that are capable of doing that.
Okay.
I would give it in the 60 percentiles. I mean, some of the ways you need to look at this facility is this is their refuge. This is sort of where you come to tinker, like this fellow does with his British cars, but also just hang out and relax and be with their family and with their kids and or other members. And it's really more of a place that facilitates that community.
How do, for the 60% who work on their cars here, where do they get their tools?
I would tell you that some of the most popular people on the campus are the guys who have the tools and have a Bridgeport or a lathe or a welding machine and that kind of be able to do the small project type stuff.
If we were to come for one of your Saturday events, what's the atmosphere? What's the feeling? Talk to me a little bit about what people are doing. And I know living nearby, I see a lot of them driving around on the roads. So it appears as though people come up, the owners get behind the wheel and they want to take them out for a spin. But I know you essentially have an event here on those weekend days. What's that about? Or talk to me a little bit about the environment there.
Sure. Well, probably the best way to start that out is really family oriented. What you'll find is that the members, when they open up their garages, they're not out driving around. They're actually in their garages and providing a personal tour of their spaces. You'll find that they're hanging out with their family. You'll find moms pushing strollers, little kids pulling their dad's arm saying, "Dad, what's that car? Let's go look at that thing." And or the dad pulling little kids going like, "That was my first car," and those kinds of things. In fact, this is last year we had a retirement home contact us, and it was a group of 12 guys, elderly guys who would love to have seen some of the cars from their past.
Very fun.
So I arranged for 5 golf carts to be set up, and we put them in the golf carts, and we gave them a tour around the entire campus and stopped at a few of the garages, and they had a chance to not only see things, but got into a few of the cars, had some great conversations with people, and it kind of creates that bonding. Many of the events that we do, we also try to help charities. Some of the charities we really try to done the most with is Gillette Children's Hospital, Make-A-Wish. We've Angel Foundation. There's a number of different things that we do, but part of what we like to do that creates this commonality and community is not only to be able to enjoy your space yourself, but being able to share it with the public in the greater good.
Wonderful. Well, thank you so much for taking the time. I appreciate
You're
it.
very welcome. See you.
And this is our interview with Bruno Silikowski.
Very good. Great job.
Thank you.